everyone, this is Juliana from the EFWE-Fall2019 team, and this video is gonna revolve around connecting to the staging server. So our staging server is this URL, right? This is our staging server. Our production server is a different URL. I think it is. You can connect to any of these using this method. So basically why you would need to connect to the remote server, if you want to test something on the website and see what the response is, maybe, specifically, I had to just start terminal, so it would basically just start the MetaTrader app on this server. So I wanted to check in the remote desktop that the actual MetaTrader had been started, okay? So just to see that the app had started, and you would also want to connect to the remote desktop if you want to change any of the values, or you want to see the values of the database that the staging server is using. So I'm going to show you both ways because you have to connect to the actual pre-production effort account really, and it depends on where you deploy your changes. So if you want to do something like start terminal, you would need to use the effort account because that's where all of the changes that you do here when you deploy them, it would go to those kind of accounts, not your personal account. So the professor, if he hasn't, you should ask that he creates a personal account for you in the remote desktop so you can log in with your credentials that you log into the CS lab computers with. So, or you do like Ocelot if you've done connections via Ocelot. You should use those credentials to log into your personal. And your personal, these are all the servers that we have. And I use this one. You can use any of them if you have all your changes deployed to all the servers. So this one is I'm not going to log into the personal one. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to log into my personal because the personal would be used for the database stuff. You can't access it without your personal because this one is not an administrator, and to access the database you need to have an administrator account. So the remote connection to this server would only happen if you are in the FIU Wi-Fi. So if you're always at FIU, that's good, but if you work from home a lot, you're gonna need this to connect in your while you're at home. So you click use these RD gateway server settings, and the server name would be rdp-gw.ad.cs.fiu.edu. And once you have this, mine is already set up, so it has my credentials. So it will basically, when it asks you to connect, when you put connect, it will ask you first for those gateway credentials. So look very carefully at what username and password. This happened a lot to other people, that they put in the wrong username and password because they don't read. Here it says the credentials to connect to the actual website, but for you, if you don't have it set already, it's gonna first ask you for the connection, your account for the gateway. So the credentials for the gateway would be your FIU email without the, so mine is GAVOT011. So you would put that in there, and your password would be the password that you use to connect to the CS computers. Okay, so that's the gateway credentials, and after you insert that. You can log in to either this username or the just effort VPS, which is the production one. This one is pre-production, so it hasn't been deployed for the actual production one. So if you would deploy something into production, you would use the production account, and if you deploy something which is the most likely to pre-production, you would use this account. So the password for this is FIRT1234, the same password that you use to log in as administrator here, and you just click OK. And here you are. You logged into there's a bunch of stuff that I use from demo. But yeah, I have a terrible Wi-Fi, so it does this a lot. This is an issue we ran into a lot. You only can have 2 people connected at once to any account. 2 people at once, so it's going to be an issue. Sometimes you need somebody to log out, and don't leave it on. You can do this and leave it in the background a lot, and don't, because probably people, if you're not using it, just close it, because probably somebody needs to connect. And another thing with this is that sometimes it will tell you, instead of showing you, there's 2 different ways it tells you that it's busy. The normal way would be that it shows you the people that are connected, the users, and it tells you, oh, do you want to kick out somebody? And the other way is just a blue screen that says that the server is busy. And when that happens, you have to log into another account, your personal account, and then restart the whole server, because it's just been overflowed or overused. And you should be able to log in. So when you want to see maybe the code that's in the production server for MetaTrader, you can go all the way this path and see all the terminals that we have here, and you can check out the code here. So if you want to deploy anything to be in staging, so you can use it here, and it shows up here. So if you have some code, some export advisor, that when you start it does something, if you want to check that it actually does something by using this website, you would have to deploy it to here. And we have 3 pipelines. I'm not really the person who did that. There's probably going to be videos about pipelines in the EFWA teams playlist, but basically we have 3 pipelines, one for the effort, one for VPS, and one for this MetaTrader side, the MQL5. So it's supposed, I'm sorry, I went to go. So it's supposed to, every time you deploy, change this whole MQL5 file to the one you have here. So if you have some functionality that is supposed to open something, like here, start terminal, when you start it, it's supposed to start a MetaTrader instance on this server. So if you want to check that that actually happened, you would have to be logged in there. I'm going to do a whole video, I think, on this start terminal because I had to work on it. But basically, if you don't see it pop up, if you try it and you don't see it pop up, it's probably because it's on a different session than the one you're on. To check what session you're on, you open any, I usually open MetaTrader, even though it's a bad idea because it makes a lot of noises. But I usually open just whatever app. You can open Notepad, whatever, and put here, try to find it in the task list, and it will tell you what session you're on. Oh, sorry. And where it opened. So this is the command to find something in the task list. And you will see I'm on session 5. So yeah, that should have worked on session 5. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to log into your personal account and check the database. So if I want to check what terminals are in my database, what accounts I have, you would here what different, if I make a new account, I would go into the database that is in this remote desktop, not to the database, my local database, right? So you would have to log in with your personal account. This is my personal account. This is just your name, like your FIU email name, and the password you use to log into the computers at the CS labs. I'm typing with one hand, so sorry. And let me see, I probably typed it wrong because I was typing with one hand. Yeah, so, oh, sorry, this is so important, but you're supposed to have AD before. This is really important. I'm glad I got that error, because you could probably get that error too. So you're supposed to have AD, which is the domain, and this backslash, not forward slash, and also something that usually happens is maybe you would get a message here that you were not unable to connect because the gateway was down or something. This happens often. I think it's just part of the, like, it's a problem in the FIU thing. Since it's a gateway issue, what you have to do is wait or try to log in several times until it lets you in. So this is my personal account on this server that the professor made administrator and put in here for me. And to check the database, you would go here and look for Microsoft SQL Server Management Server and open it up. And here I would like, if I want to change something, some information in the database, some information in the website, so maybe I want to change the session, I would use this one. I would click like here and click edit and edit that, and it would show up as change here. So let me do that. Let me change the session. So I would go into MT5. It should be MT5, but it's MT4 because we used to use that, and put edit and change the session number from 5 to like 2. And if I go on the website and click this, it's in 2. Okay, so if you want to change anything like that, if the website is too slow and you just want to try change it directly from here, you can. And you can see maybe something really easy. You can see the logins. Yeah, you can see all the different accounts. That's mine that were created on this website. You can see the administrator account and all that. The passwords are encrypted, so that's why I told you that the administrator account password and all of these accounts are created by like the professor. They're set up for us to use. So all of these passwords are effort 1, 2, 3, 4.